Righty then, we are back with another transfer talk. Hope everyone's having a wonderful Tuesday. News broke last night of, well, a lot actually, really broke through last night, didn't it? And it looks like United have now fully and officially entered panic mode. So what's happening? Sasa Kalajdzic, there was some news come out last night. I don't know if you remember the scout report that we did on him. 6'7" striker, plays for Stuttgart, 25. He's got 3 assists so far in 2 appearances for them in the Bundesliga this year. In terms of the player profile, he's a little bit like Ivan Toney or Michail Antonio in terms of the output that you get out of him. He's been on United's shortlist apparently for one of the various forward options, but as of this moment, no offer has been made to Stuttgart. I like the idea of him, and it very much looks like, especially as we're going to talk about Cunha in a minute as well, because and I assume I'm saying that right, but there's every chance I'm not saying that right. What it looks like to me with the striker profiles that we're going, we are going for a very, very, very functional type of striker, and that's what you get with Kalajdzic. And that's what I liked about him. I think he's actually a lot more skillful than just being a big lump. And I actually did like some of the skill that we saw on offer from him. And if you've not seen that video, I'll rename the video because I think we made it a bit of a mystery about which striker we was talking about. But I'll get that renamed. So I'll call it the Sasa Kalajdzic scout report, something along those lines, so you can go check it out. But again, this looks now like we are entering panic mode. Are we entering panic mode because we genuinely need a different style of striker, one different to Ronaldo, one different to Martial? Or is it going to be, listen, all of the talk that you see in Ronaldo's on his bike and we will be bringing in another striker? That is the big sort of question mark for me in terms of where do we go, what's going to happen with this one. Matheus Cunha, Atletico Madrid, one of, again, as it's been reported, one of several targets that United want to sign. They're talking about 45 million for him. Now, I'm going to do a standalone video. I might even do 2 videos. I might do one the case for, and I might do one the worry with, because I think it's good to sort of come at these from a slightly different angle, rather than just say, this is what he's good at. I think if you focus on some of the negative aspects of him and question why we're signing him, but then we can also do a video highlighting some of the positives for him as well. So I might do both of those. So Cunha's agent supposedly have directly held talks with United. There's no agreement with Atletico as things stand, and they want more than €50 million for the player, according to Romano. Now, for me, Cunha, the number of goals that he scores and even the number of assists that he gets, it's on the below average kind of side. He's probably a 4th choice forward, I would think, at Atletico. And 50 million is far too much for someone that's a backup striker, in my opinion. I think there's more to him than that. I think he's in like the top 1% of pressing sort of forwards, which again ties in with the sort of profile that we're looking at with Kalajdzic. It's definitely only going to be one of these guys. But you also see, we were linked with Arnautovic. Arnautovic isn't a striker known for finesse. He's a bit of a battler, isn't he? We're linked with Morata. Morata is known as having quite good finishing, but like we're looking at a certain sort of stereotype forward here, aren't we? And it isn't the poacher. It isn't the silky sort of speedster. It's very much a bit of a unit, for want of better words. So it looks like that's the sort of thing that we're going for. With Cunha, I think there's more to him than just running around like a sniffed up Tevez. There's more to him than that. But that is his overwhelmingly most obvious trait, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? I think that makes sense, doesn't it? So it looks like United have entered panic mode this week, trying to find a striker. Kalajdzic looks like he's one of them. Cunha looks like one of them. Let's have a look. Yeah, we've got Peter Knight with a super chat here, and he says, Steve, sorry, but none of these transfers will change anything. The players never give 100%. How can we change that? Here's another $5 for the Sue. Oh, ledge. Yeah, this is the thing. Both Cunha and Kalajdzic, you're looking at 6 and 7 goals. Okay, there's only half a season there for Kalajdzic. But you're looking at 6 and 7 goals and almost 200 minutes each for them to be scoring them. It's hardly prolific. It's hardly prolific, is it? So it shows that we're very much looking to provide goals from probably our wide areas. Maybe that's why we're looking at Antony. I certainly don't think we're going to get Milinkovic, Savic, Antony, and let's say Kalajdzic or Cunha over the line. What a mad week we're in for. I'm not going to sleep if that's the case. And I find that extremely hard to believe. That's what we need, and arguably a right back as well, but I just don't think we're going to get it, I really don't. I don't think we're going to get it. Chris Lowe says, why are we so bad at selling players for value? Now, normally, and he's talking about Levitt and Garner for the absolutely fucking pathetic prices we're getting when, the likes of Solanke and Brewster, similar ability, go for fucking fortunes. With first-team players, it's because United pay very, very good wages. With youngsters, that's not the case, so I don't understand why. Having Manchester United on your CV as a youngster should be a positive. Dale says, all right, Steve, live from Denton. Big up Denton. Really hope our transfer strategy starts to work out because I'm fed up of flop after flop. It's bad, isn't it? Brett says, devastated hearing Garner's up for sale. Literally would rather sell any other midfielder. Well, let's talk about midfielders then. So let's talk about Rabiot. Rabiot appears to be all but on his way to United. Filmed with a fan yesterday, wishing him luck in England, and he was saying his goodbyes on video. The reports that are coming out are the deal is all but done with everybody, including his mum. So it looks now like that's probably going to be the case, that we are bringing Rabiot in. Again, it's another budget option when we really need to be reaching. I don't think Rabiot's necessarily better than anyone in our squad, and that's not how you improve the team. And I would absolutely love to be wrong with this, but I don't think I am. Obviously, no one walks around saying anything that they know to be incorrect, do they? So I don't think this guy's the answer. I hope he can come in and provide something, and I hope it's not column inches for the Red Tops, because that's possible. And then finally, let's talk about Garner, and then you guys can get some questions in if you want. Charlie says we missed a sitter with Matheus Nunes. There's so many, isn't there? There's so many we've missed out on. Absolutely millions that we've missed out on this summer. So according to Romano, James Garner has got a good chance to leave United in the next few days. There's 3 or 4 Premier League clubs interested. Tottenham's unlikely as things stand. His agents are Triple S, and they are working on it. Talks are ongoing. Some talks yesterday emerged saying that it is likely to be a loan rather than a sale. I would prefer that, in all honesty, but I would also just prefer him to stay at Manchester United, to be honest, and prove that he's got the right stuff, because I believe he's got the right stuff. Ethan Laird has gone on loan to QPR. I did speak to Ethan last night, actually, because we was talking about where he was going to go, and I told him to go somewhere that's got a beach so I can come and watch him, and I was just giving him shit about Queen's Park Rangers not having a beach, essentially. But I did say I'll go down and watch him and check him out, and wished him luck for the future. What you guys saying in the chat? Beer says, can it be that Garner has asked for a transfer? It could be, especially he's at the stage of his career where he's like, are you fuckers going to play me or not? And if it's not, then all right, in a bit. Nazibul says, United's co-chairman Joel Glazer is against the prospect of selling Cristiano Ronaldo despite the player's wish to leave. That's worrying, isn't it? If the he should just go, I support whatever my manager says. That's what he should say. DC says, hey Steve, things have gotten so bad at the United, the pressure will only grow on the Glazers. Don't trust them at all to sell someone even worse than them purely out of spite. Yeah, I'm not getting into the ownership stuff in terms of who could be buying us. What I'll say on the Glazers is I don't think they've got any interest in selling whatsoever. Santa Notch says Cunha would break the mold for a Brazilian with a proper name joining United, so it could be mint. Am I saying it right? Is it Cunha? Mozanar says, aren't the Glazers old? Isn't it time for heaven or hell? I don't think they all are old. No, Malcolm Glazer obviously passed away a couple of years into owning United, but it's owned by his kids now. And I think his kids, I think even though some of them are in their 50s, let's have a look. I think some of them are like, my age, so you'd assume that there's a fair bit of time going on for him. Let's have a look. He's got 6 children. The ones that are publicly kind of known is Avram, Brian, and Joel. Does it mention the rest of their family? And then, obviously, even those have got kids as well. So, like, Joel's got a wife and 2 daughters. So, technically, if anything happened to those, it'd just pass down to their kids' kids. So it's one of them, innit? What does it say about this? Yeah, it doesn't say. Or it probably does say. I'm trying to scan and I can't actually see it that quickly. So yeah, it's one of them, innit? Not a lot you're going to be able to do about that. Maybe the kids like United, you never know. Yeah. Cunha says Phobos, which I probably spelled wrong. Gavin says on Monday we could be ahead of Liverpool. We could be, yeah. We actually go a point. I actually was. I was in a group chats last night saying that if United beat Liverpool on Monday, I'm just going to go turbo on Klopp. Edgar says hi Stephen, all the way from Mexico. It's 4 a.m. here. Why are you up so early? What's going on? Ross says interesting to see what Kieran Maguire thinks of Mr. Knighton. What's Kieran said? Because Kieran's usually got his head screwed on. Dan says, would be happy if Ten Hag decided to turn to youth or fringe players to give them some minutes and a chance to prove a point to those not performing. So as you guys are aware, some of you are aware, there is a former Premier League player, former international, that's signing for Paddock. He's not signing for a couple of weeks. And obviously, we've just had 2 poor results back to back. We've actually played very well in our last 3 games. I haven't picked up a win. We've drawn and lost twice. And we are losing out, in my opinion, on fight. When the opposition start cheering throw-ins, corners, free kicks, everything, and the opposition crowd do, you know that there's some sort of an underdog / cup final kind of mentality at play here. Now, it would be unfair to my players to say that they've gone into these games not up for it, because it's not the case. But sometimes, if you see the way the FA Cup works, right? You see a Premier League team will struggle against a conference team, and it's purely on the fact that they are fighting for every ball. Now, the Premier League player that's coming down and signing on for us, he's been chatting to us about the sort of things that need to happen mentally for the players. And he's just said, in his opinion, the lads need to just get ready to fight. And it's not about ability at this stage. 70% technical, 70% mental, and just being up for the fight and refusing to be outworked. And I think that's a great sort of point. And I think it should be the starting basis. And my team work hard, but I think they have lost out on fight. And to bring that back round to Manchester United, technical ability of Manchester United versus the average player at Brentford, even though we've got some poor players in terms of Manchester United, they're still Manchester United players and they still got a very high level of technical proficiency. But Brentford worked, and they outworked United, proven by the literal statistics which shown that they ran 13.8 kilometres more than us. That's literally like playing with an extra player. 13.8 kilometres is the distance covered by one midfielder generally. So they literally worked so hard, it was like having an extra man. And I find that fascinating. And I think that's what almost Erik ten Hag has to do to fix United. He has to say, I'm going to pick 11 players that are going to work for me and try their best to fit my system. That might be the youngsters. I was chatting to Rio yesterday about this Ronaldo stuff, the talk that he sits on his own. Now, there's footage come out of him sitting on his own in between Real Madrid's Champions League final wins, right? That was a successful team. Was he sulking then when he was a major part in a team that won back-to-back Champions Leagues? Or maybe, as I sort of said yesterday, does Cristiano Ronaldo just like sitting on his own? Maybe he just likes it. Maybe he's the guy that gets mithered for selfies and autographs so much that when he gets a chance to eat, he's like, I'm just going to go sit in the corner and just be by myself for a minute. I don't think that's a positive or negative. I just think that Ronaldo eating on his own, unless he's been told to sit with the team, I don't see an issue with him sitting on his own. And then as for him flapping his arms around in training, have you ever seen Cristiano Ronaldo play football? That's what he does. Now, out of the three things that was sort of leaked, which again I don't like, the third one is the only one I find problematic. And again, I find it problematic if it's true. There's no proof that this is true. It's hearsay at the moment. And that was Ronaldo has been arguing with Ten Hag about the system. If that's true, that's problematic. We don't know it's true. And I've got to think about this. If you try and take a step back and try and put your hat on and say, I'm the club at the moment. Talk emerged at the start of the week about Manchester United wanting to rip up his contract. It doesn't work like that. It probably would be a mutual termination because then Ronaldo would be able to go and find employment elsewhere. And we know he wants to go. So if you offered him the chance to terminate his contract, he'd probably agree. You'd agree on a fee and off he'd pop. Now, Manchester United, at least in their heads, are thinking there would be a lot of negative pushback if we just release Ronaldo, especially if they're not going to sign someone. So wouldn't it be in Manchester United's board's interest to leak things like he's arguing with Ten Hag? Because you saw the reaction yesterday. When people think he's arguing with Ten Hag with zero proof, there was no video of this, was there? Right? And it might be true, but it might be lies. And we don't know. I could find out, but I'm not sure that sort of thing, I'll get the truth either way, to be honest. I think people, especially with Ronaldo, are very protective about what they're going to say. So, whether it's true or whether it's false, if I'm the club and I'm trying to get rid of such a megastar like Ronaldo and I want to soften the blow from a PR perspective, I'm going to leak things like he's having arguments with our brand new manager because you see the way that the public reacted to that. Now, if you end up cutting the guy's contract and you can point to all of the rumours where it was like, listen, he was arguing with a new gaffer and we can't be having that, can we? The public's not going to go for you. The public are going to go, that was the right decision, fuck him off. So that's why I don't necessarily believe it. Just got a sneaky suspicion it's a load of old arse, to be honest. ML says, Steve, have I started the Jason Redman podcast yet? No, I have not. Sean Ryan's show. Brilliant podcast. And he says, watch the DJ Shipley one that you said about. Unbelievable. If you go to my community tab, there's a podcast that I've linked. It's a military podcast from a guy called DJ Shipley. I think DJ's a year younger than me. I commented on the video. I think me and DJ enlisted at a similar time. And for those who know any sort of history of like the mid-2000s, following 9/11, what happened in Iraq, what happened in Afghanistan, the rights and wrongs of those can be debated until the cows come home. But the fact is, for grunts like me and DJ that was deployed to those areas, I was in Iraq in 2008, Afghanistan 2006, 2007, and then obviously Iraq 2008. DJ did it the other way around. I think he did Iraq first and then ended up doing several deployments with SEAL Team 6 to Afghanistan and that. But some of the stuff that he talks about and some of the places that he talks about, it's a 4.5 hour podcast. And some of the mental stuff that he talks about, talking about how he wanted to take his own life and getting addicted to different pain medications and all that sort of stuff. It is a hard watch for anybody that served, or even if you know somebody that served, it's not an easy watch. But even if you haven't, or you don't necessarily have interest in it, it's a brilliant human story about what this guy's gone through and some of the coping mechanisms that he's put himself through to try and get straight and this, that, and the other. And it kind of ends up with an ayahuasca retreat, which is mental. And it's honestly, it is a fascinating watch. It's 4.5 hours, but I promise you will be like, that flew by, because it literally flies by. ML says, thought that might get you. My old man was SB, so find it fascinating. It was brilliant. It's genuinely brilliant. And it makes me laugh when American Special Forces guys talk about British Special Forces guys, there's such a reverence for them that I never expected. And I get it. You know, there would be SAS, SBS guys that would come and hang out with us at times, and there would be this Superman sort of glow about them. It was amazing. Mad9 says Martinez actually looks extremely composed. It's refreshing, but the way he's built is concerning for the Prem, despite his height. I don't think his height's an issue, to be honest. Eddie A says Cantona kicked a fan. No issues there. Absolutely fucking not, my friend. David Manaheim says, off topic, I heard a rumour that Shaw, Rashford and Maguire have a minimum number of minutes in their contracts. Listen, mate, did you see the source of that? Come on. Minimum number of minutes in contracts happens when people go on loan. That's it. That's usually how it works. And I know Cameron Borthwick-Jackson had a minimum number of minutes in his contract when he went to Wolves, and they got a new manager in and he ignored it. So much for those clauses. Yeah, just people can just chin them off, can't they? I don't think they do have, because Luke Shaw, when he was out injured and then being kept out of the side by Brandon Williams, where was his minimum minute clause then? Do you know what I mean? Danny says, am I a fan of this Bruno, or is it just another Bruno Fernandes? What does that mean? Thoughts on the Stretty News exclusive that states New York investment fund are considering making an offer for us? I haven't read it. David says, the source was awful, but this is United we're talking about. Does anything surprise you? No, it wouldn't, actually. Shout out from Antigua. What a beautiful part of the world. 6:55 a.m. here. Why? I think everybody who lives in Antigua, in my head, lives on the beach. I'm sure that's not the case. I'm sure people live in like blocks of flats and things like that. But in my head, I'm seeing a beach hut. Sorry, that's just what I get took to, especially with Antigua. And the beaches are the fucking whitest ever. And I'm just going to have to Google that now, because I don't even know if Antigua's got white beaches. But that's the image that I see. Oh my good God. Oh mate, fucking swap. That is, yeah, they are very, 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 very white beaches. Oh my goodness. What a fucking joint that is. Why are you on YouTube? Just go outside and look at shit. You're in fucking paradise, Arkid. What are you doing looking at my ugly mug on YouTube? Get a fucking grip of yourself. Is there any hope for this club? Yeah. Everything goes in cycles. Be right in the end. The truth is, look, however long we are laboured with the Glazers, Manchester United is so big a brand, at some point, someone's going to take the plunge and take us off their hands at some point. I don't know when that's going to be, but United is too big a brand that no one's going to have it. Thoughts on the Monday Night Football review of post-Fergie signings? I saw the image. I didn't see the show. Now, I think some of the players that are in the amber should just be in the fucking red. Like Harry Maguire. Why is he amber? Why is Luke Shaw amber? They're not fucking amber. They have not worked out. Let's be real. They're in the red. Marcus says, hire from Salford. Moving to Cairns in October. That's a long commute. Fucking hell. Are we panic buying, are we? Yeah, I think we might be, yeah. It feels like we might be entering into that sort of stuff. Do I think we'll bounce back after the Liverpool game? I don't want to talk about the Liverpool game until I have to. I know that we go above them if we beat them, but let's be honest. Does anyone ever have any fucking hope that we're going to beat them? What's for dinner? I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to be having for dinner today. At all, to be honest. And I've got training later, so I don't know what I'm having for tea either. They usually work straight through and then go into finger. Alex says they were in amber because they were English. Makes sense. But they weren't good, were they? Glazers feel they are coming to the end of their ride on this gravy train. I fucking hope so. Would I play a back five against Liverpool? I could make the case for doing that, to be honest. Could definitely make the case for that. Big Trev says Stretford Arndale is going to be the new Deansgate with all the bars. New place to be. Are they building bars in there? I think at some point I went into Stretford Arndale and had 2 Gregs, which is fucking impressive, innit? Because the place is about the size of this fucking office. Mayhill says, do you ask your paddock players to follow a diet? No, I don't. And for most footballers, they're expending that much energy that you don't really need to go into too much detail on their diet. Premier League players, you would hope, are able to make 1% gains by having extremely tight diets. But at our level, they're putting that much energy out. That literally, like, the nutritional advice post-game is get a fucking pizza in you. Get those carbs and fats back in you ASAP. Mark Slade there with a super chat says, missed your opinion on this, but I'll ask anyways. Empty Old Trafford against Liverpool, but the sentiment is there. Will it work? Thoughts on it? It's not going to be empty. I don't believe it's empty. I think the 1958 are leading the charge on a lot of the protest things, and they've just said they're not doing it. So I think it's not going to happen. You've got to get the TRA, 1958 must. You get all those things on board, and then that's the one. Sam says, Steve, what is the size that Adidas Old Trafford shirt you've got? I need to buy online. It was 2XL, but I could probably done just getting an XL, I think, because it was a bit big. Darman says, what are my thoughts on more women's games at Old Trafford? I'm going up to the Villa game and can't wait. Yeah, I think, why not? And more youth games there too, is what I'd be saying. Righty, I'm going to wrap it up there. Thank you guys for tuning in. As always, make sure to subscribe, hit like. There's going to be some scout reports coming out. We're going to be doing one on Cunha and all sorts of other stuff coming out soon as well. So make sure to check those out, and I'll catch you in a bit. Laters.